This is Straight Talk with enlivening Greg Fann, the Preacher Man, and his sidekick Shanan Jones. Frank discussions of issues affecting the ATL, Fulton County, the state of Georgia, the nation, and around the world. And now, here they are, live and in living color, the team of Jones and Fann, the Preacher Man.
Well, welcome to today's Straight Talk with yours truly, Greg Fann, the Preacher Man. And we got Big Papa back with us this week. How you doing, Big Papa?
I'm good, man. How you? Looks like I've been away forever, but you just canceled me out, brought your sons in. I've been watching it, just threw me all the way away. Goodness gracious. One week you didn't even tell the people I wasn't even there.
And the reason I didn't tell the people you wasn't and the reason I didn't tell the people you wasn't there, because you wasn't there. But listen, we got a great. No. You were too busy dealing with Samuel. That's all it was. And the weather report and traffic report and all that stuff. Listen, this is what we're going to do. We're going to get ready for the program. We want you to, don't forget to like us, subscribe, comment, and share to our YouTube channel. And listen each week on WIGO at 7 p.m. for yours truly, Greg Fann, the Preacher Man, and Shanan E. Jones. And don't forget Miss C segment. We'll bring Miss C in with her segment in just a few minutes. And we'll see you on the other side.
Oh, hey, Miss C here with your 3-minute news blast, or less. Hey, Bishop Greg. Hey, Pastor Shanan. Hope you all are doing well. And I hope all of you out there are doing well as well. I hate it when I say that. Anyway, listen, I got a little bit of news for you. I hope you've had a great Juneteenth celebration. And as we celebrate our freedom, knowing about it 2.5 years later, and I thank God for all that he's given me and us, and I just pray his continued blessings upon us. Okay, got a little bit of news to tell you about, okay? The 30th Annual Gospel Choice Music Awards honoring those who inspire will be held Saturday, June 29th, 2024 at the Sonesta Atlanta Airport North, 1325 Virginia Avenue in Atlanta. It will be hosted by Yavis McKenzie. This 30th Annual Gospel Choice Awards will be featuring great music and have a lot of special guests. It's just a really great award show. Now, for ticket information, visit www.gospelchoicemusicawards.com. All right. Now, the city of East Point presents Wednesday Wine Down in the Point each Wednesday from 5 to 9 p.m. On Wednesday, June 26th, guests include Evelyn Champagne King. Do y'all remember her? Raheem Devon, Mickey Howard, and the Soul Cartel. Wednesday Wine Down is free to the public. You bring your own bottled water and you bring your own lawn chairs. Now, that's all that you can bring because they say no weapons, no smoking, no tents, no coolers, no pets, no outside food, and no drinks, because they're going to have all that there for you to purchase. And it will be hosted at the Downtown Commons, 2714 East Point Street in East Point. Now, for more information, you can visit www.eastpointcity.org. Wednesday Wine Down will be hosted by saxophonist, or saxophonist, as some people call it, Isaiah Tatum, and comedians Marvin Dixon and the Big Tigger Morning Show. All right, and that's coming up on Wine Down. It's Wednesday Wine Down, and that's June 26th from 5 to 9 p.m. All right, now listen, I'll be happy to announce your event. Just email it to me at straighttalknews1362@gmail.com. Now, Greg had told me that at one time he thought he had put it up there wrong on the screen. So just in case he did, just listen to what I say, okay? Email it to me at straighttalknews1362@gmail.com, okay? And send it to me, if you can, at least 2 to 3 weeks in advance, so that we can be sure that we get it on in a timely fashion. And listen, I'd like for you to do 4 things for me. I'd like for you to subscribe. I'd like for you to like us. And I'd like for you to leave comments. Let us know how we're doing. And number 4, share us. Don't keep Straight Talk News to yourself. We want everybody to know about Straight Talk News, okay? So, listen, in the meantime and in between time, may the Lord God bless you real good. Bye now.
All right, we're on the other side, and we have a special guest tonight that's going to be on with us tonight, Shanan, and talking about things that she's upset about. And I maybe I'll give a hint who it is, but we have that special guest, and we're going to bring her on now, and it's Miss C.
Hey. Live and breathe.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we got Miss C tonight, and last week we had a Father's Day special, Father's Day tribute, and everything. But this week we're going to have some discussion and around topics that Miss C's interested in, and some things that Shanan and I are interested in. But Shanan, before I begin, I just want to open up, talk about the Voter Rights Act of 1965. And, of course, Shelby versus Holder, Shelby County, Alabama, and how they gutted out the 1965 Voter Rights Act. And a decision was made on June the 25th, 2013, held that a part of the Voter Rights Act of 1965 was unconstitutional. And it put it on Congress to update the legislation without full protection for Voter Rights Act. States, local governments with long history of discrimination are free to adopt election policies that have not been able to do in decades. These policies are stuff like the Jim Crow law, right? Poll taxes, and of course the literacy taxes test. So what we have here now is, and I'm going to read this section too. It said the Constitution of the United States does not explicitly grant the right to vote. Now that's important. It does not explicitly give you the right to vote, but rather the 15th and the 19th and the 26th Amendment provision discriminates of citizens' rights to vote, and based on, this is what it said, you can't discriminate against people's right to vote by these amendments, 15, 19, 26 Amendment, right? It said based on prior servitude, race, belief, color, ethnicity, sex, and age of those who are at least 18 years of age. Basic voter rights are extended to one group of people. They cannot deny other groups of people. Okay, in the 15th Amendment, which was passed in 1870, stating that the U.S. federal government and state government shall not deny the right to vote on account of race, color, previous condition, servitude. Despite the 15th Amendment, states and local governments implemented various discrimination practices such as poll taxes, literacy taxes, and Jim Crow laws. And they implemented them, and they prevented black folks basically from voting. So Johnson passed the Voters' Rights Act in 1965, but it was gutted in the year 13. So what we see, they took away the pre-clearances. So now all the stuff that you're seeing around voting and suppression, voter suppression, and all the things you're seeing, the students that Donald Trump is doing, and the courts are doing, and this was done by the Supreme Court, right? Supreme Court, the one said it was unconstitutional. And so basically, Cynthia and I were talking last night, and Cynthia, if you want to just share with our viewers and our audience, what do you see in Miss non-political person who don't believe in politics?
Well, all these years, I just want to let everybody, all these years when Greg has talked politics to me, I told him I was not political, I was not interested. And then as the years have progressed, I have become involved indirectly and not of my own, because I see so many things happening in the world. And what we were talking about last night is that the people in my house, my grandson, my cousin, and my son. I asked them, did they know who Jesse Owens was? Because he just passed away. They said no. I said, well, do you know who Joe Louis was? They said no. I said, how about Willie Mays? Because he just passed. And they said no. And when I told them all, I said, sit down. Because if they don't know our past, then they don't know where we're going in the future. And these young people, they say they're not political, so they're not interested in voting. And I told them, you've got to be interested in voting, because it's going to make a difference come November. It's going to make a difference. So I was sitting down talking to them, and I recommend everybody going to the History Channel, and they have this it's a movie. Well, it's a documentary. It's called Triumph: Jesse Owens and the Berlin Olympics. If you see this documentary about what Jesse Owens had to go through, he won five. He broke five records, but yet and still, when the athletes went over, when it was time for them to go to bed, the other athletes, they slept in the dorm. The people that looked like us had to sleep in a rooming house. And so if I was trying to make them aware that what they're experiencing now was not always true, and that if we're not careful, we may return to some things that took place in the past if we don't secure our future. And so that's what that was the crux of what we were talking about last night. I was fired up last night because I just couldn't believe that my family did not know who those three people were, those three famous people who had broke records, and the struggle they had just to win the title, and how people snubbed them. It was just amazing. And so what I feel is that families need to start at home, since they've taken some books away out of the schools, out of the libraries. Then we got to do it at home. We got to teach our young people the richness of our past, so that they can understand why we've got to go forward and not backward.
All right. All right, Shannon. Shannon is younger than you and I, Cynthia. He just turned oh Lord. Do you want me to tell your
I'm
age?
tricky, don't be treating me like no kid. I'm in the no, no.
Now,
No,
no,
I
I
have a
saw.
ride. I
I,
have a ride.
he's getting close to getting his ARP car. But anyway,
No,
but
it's not what you mean getting close. You got it.
you
I got
got
the
you.
thing. I got the driver in the front of my car. I got the space divider in my car they gave me for the truck. That's how you know you're in the ARP.
Well, thank you for joining our club. But Shannon, Cynthia said some things. We are one generation, Cynthia and I, and you are another generation, and we see where young people not engaging in voting, and that's why I read that, because they're not engaged in voting, then they don't know our history. When people talk about Hank Aaron, Hank Aaron, the home run king, and how they did him threats
Yeah.
that you cannot hit this last home run, break Babe Ruth's record, right? And that was doing this after the civil rights movement. This was really after the civil rights movement, when we got the right to vote. That there was so much hatred that they didn't want this black man to break the record of a white man, right? So we're faced with these challenges today, and young people need to know the struggle and the importance of voting. So I know that you have a lot to say about that yourself, because you've been around a while, even though you're just turning 50, but you've been around a while, sharing and trying to get people to register, vote, and people of your era, and then younger people. So I'm going to turn it over to you.
So we should never forget, as African Americans, the three amendments, because you don't have a constitutional, a blatant constitutional right to do any of these things. to even exist, to even be a citizen. All of these were up to and acts. Okay, so in the original Constitution, you were considered, and I was considered, we weren't even considered fully human. Okay, 13th, 14th, 15th Amendments. 13th Amendment freed us. 14th Amendment made us citizens. 15th Amendment gave us the right. The 13th Amendment freed us. 14th Amendment gave us citizenship, and the 15th Amendment gave us the right to vote. And that sacred right to vote came to us in an act. We have a voters' right act that every 10 years or so has to be reenacted so that we can continue to have that right to vote. What we have to understand is that we engage in politics 24/7. Everything you do is, I can listen to Miss C, I can listen to my aunts tell me and my uncle say I ain't into politics, and they go to church, and the pastor has to look at the sermon and he want to say something to something, but he doesn't say it not because he has good religion, but because he has good politics. If I say what probably need to be said up in here, I'm gonna cause so much problem in this place that they might run me and my family out of the parsonage and put us out the church. There's politics in the church. We know that. On the usher board, politics. On the deacon board, politics. I can't go to the grocery store and say I created a plant, and in this plant there's an herb in this thing that can cure glaucoma. And I've got a bunch of cases of them out there. I just want to put these in your store. Publix is going to say to me, Kroger's going to say to me, Piggly Wiggly going to say to me, I can't put this in the store because first and foremost, it has to be approved by the FDA. Mm-hmm. That's the Food and Drug Administration. That's politics. Mm-hmm. So the stuff that's on our shelf, whether it's helping us or killing us, it's by it's politics in that. It's politics in where we walk down the street and how we walk down the street and what streets we walk on. It's politics in the cars that we drive. I can't even car and register the car. And next thing you know, they want me to go get an emissions test. Go pay another $25, $30, whatever it is now. I can't remember.
I go to a $15 place. I'll tell you what a $15 place is, okay?
And everything.
It is.
And now, if I want to ride Bishop, if I want to ride the MARTA bus, I can't now. I'm not going to be able to get into 5 Points unless I have a transfer card. Because I'm not going to be able to walk in like so many homeless people were able to do. I'm not going to be able to walk in to 5 Points and go north, south, east, west, all anywhere I want to go. I would have to be at a connecting point and be able to do it. So that, because there's politics in it. I can't go to the airport and say, I just want to go to the airport and go to lunch. Because now the politics is I have to have a boarding pass to show that I have a reason to be in there. So we're always engaging in politics. And if we choose to engage in the act of voting, then we're going to be in politics. Can you imagine being in the midst of a storm of people and processes and papers and being muted? Not being able to speak, not being able to speak your PEACE or your PICEC or PIECE. You can't speak your piece for your own piece or your piece of pie to say you're just being moved around from one to another because you've been muted. And what we're doing is we're muting ourselves out of the process and not being counted. And they're looking at that and the danger of a possible Trump administration and a 2025 plan and an activist conservative Supreme flags upside on their properties. Judge Alito, Justice Alito, and he's what. The danger of that is that eventually they're going to look at the act
and they're going to change it.
Maybe we don't need.
Right.
That's
Absolutely.
my piece, Bishop. That's
I mean, but you said it right, because this is what they said here, is that when they changed it, they said that there is no need to have the Voters' Right Act, that particular section for pre-clearance, because black people are now voting, and there's no reason to have this act because black people are now voting. And they said specifically black because we were the one that was being discriminated against in terms of having the right to vote. So they specifically said black people are now voting, but now black people are not voting. And then to your point, Shannon, they're not voting. So when they don't vote, and I'm talking about our young people, when they don't vote, then they take that, as you say, the court said, well, we just take the act. I mean, the Congress say, we just take that act away, and they don't have the right to vote. But they just can't do it to black people according to this. But they can do whatever they want to do in terms of the policies. When we talk about politics, right?
Bishop, I know we pressed for time. Let me just say this on that point.
Sure.
When they got rid of the pre-clearances, so now they're saying black people are not, they are voting, but we're looking at the numbers and we're saying, okay, but we're not voting. But even when they moved those pre-clearances, gutted Section 4, Section 5 of the Voter Rights Act,
right.
that out.
Right.
They moved those pre-clearances from the 9 southern states. They started to let us vote, but with their foot on our necks. The SB 202 and these state laws, ALEC, and what they're bringing in is they're putting their foot on your neck. So you're starting to see the reason for the pre-clearances. My father used to let all the boys spend a night, all the cousins, all of them would come over, and he'd just be laughing and smiling as they rolled up one after the other. And then 1 or 2 of them cousins get out the car and Dad would go get the belt and have the belt nearby. I said, Dad, why are you going to get the belt? Because it's a couple of these little Negroes, and I got to let them know that I got a rod of correction just in case they get out of hand. And if I don't show that I have a rod of correction, they'll run rough, tear this house up. And so he would keep that nearby. The pre-clearances was the rod of correction, and as they moved that, you saw the reason why we needed the rod of correction in the first place. So the putting the foot on the neck is to reduce the instances of the black vote and the power of the black vote, so that they can enact and put a felon in office, do the run a felonious administration that's going to bring in a 2020 plan and try to control
2025 plan. Right, 2025 plan. Yeah.
Try to control the government for the next 50 years. And the man that orchestrated this, I think did he report to jail yet? He's got to report to prison.
Well, Cynthia got a finger up. She thinks she's in school. She thinks she's in school. She said, "Can I say something, please?"
I just wanted to say one thing that I didn't say when I was talking the first time. But I also recommend another documentary. It's also on the History Channel. It's called the 761st Tank Battalion, the Original Black Panthers. These were young black men that was assigned to a military tank. And the story tells about their struggles. They said that they got transferred from Camp Claiborne, Louisiana, to Fort Hood, where they thought they were going to be treated better. They had to deal with mosquitoes down in Louisiana. They had to deal with the big bugs. So they thought they were going to Fort Hood, where they were going to be treated better, but they actually were treated worse. They said they had German POWs there, and they were treated better than the black tank battalion. And
No, go on. I was just going to say, where is Fort Hood? In Fort Hood in Texas? In Fort Hood in Texas?
I can look it up. I can Google it.
I think it is in
I'm not
Texas.
sure where it is.
Oh, wherever it is. You know, Texas was the last place they let people know they've been emancipated. So we just come over to the table.
If the Granger didn't come in, they still would have been in slavery down there.
We go on, Cynthia. Go on, Cynthia.
But anyway, as the documentary progressed, the 761st Tank Battalion, they're being celebrated, the original Black Panthers, because they had a struggle ahead of them. They were the only Black battalion that was driving the tanks at the time. And and just to see what they had to go through for our freedoms and for their freedoms, and they weren't even free because of the way they were being treated. But one of the men in the battalion, he had the opportunity to leave, but he said, "No, I'm not leaving," because they were fighting, for our freedom to prevent communism from spreading. And so it was see these two documentaries, and when people see this, they will have a renewed awareness of what we're talking about and what's at stake in November. We don't want to return to what they had to go through with.
Well, let me just tell you something. It's been masked anyway. We're already going through it. Our young people have just been dumbed down because they took the civics out of school. So when we were in school, civics was being taught. So we learned that, the Bill of Rights and the Constitution and all these other things. Young people, they ain't in tune to that. They don't really get it. I mean, maybe Shanan's group may have been the last age group that really got it, but these young people, they don't get that. They've been dumbed down, and they don't understand. And just as we get ready to go, Shanan and Cynthia, in Louisiana, they want to put the 10 Commandments in the school. But these are the same people that want to take prayer out of school. But now, because they're dealing with this nationalism religion, and we see what they're doing and using Christ as their mantra in terms of why Donald Trump is their savior. But Shanan and I know, and those who are listening should know, that Donald Trump is the Antichrist. And the Bible talked about the Antichrist, and he exemplified what the Bible is talking about. In the last day, people will turn away from sound doctrine and run to false doctrine, and there will be false prophets, itching ears, following every wind of doctrine. And Donald Trump exemplifies and personifies that image as the Antichrist. So we know we just have to keep doing what we're doing now, like on Straight Talk, and letting people know so that they can spread the word and do like you said, since you sit down with your children and talk to them, sit down with your grandchildren and talk to them and let them know, do like Shanan Daddy, get you a belt. Let them come to the house, and they don't want to act right. Hey, he who spared the rod spoiled the child. But listen, we're gonna have to wrap it up in a few seconds, though, Shanan. A few seconds.
I know, but I just want to grab one more thing. Jesse Owens did go through all that. Doc Triumph did say that Jesse Owens won that Olympics, and when he got that medal, Hitler spit on the ground and turned and walked away. He triumphed, and it didn't matter where they put him. He got to go.
He got to go. He got to go. But people need to understand, and I'm just going to, I know our time is well spent and we got to go, but if you go back and look at the Las Vegas when Sammy Davis Jr. was performing, he couldn't stay in those hotels. He had to go live in the boarding houses, and many and there's a book that is written by Joy Reid, and I talk about this all the time about Medgar and Merlin Edgar, and talk about Medgar and the sacrifices he made, and those guys who fought in World War II and how they were treated when they came back because of the color of their skin. Listen, there's a lot to learn, a lot to talk about, but we thank you, Cynthia, so much for joining us. Like for you to come back again and join us on the program. Don't you want her back, Shanan? Shanan, don't you want her back?
What do you mean want her back? She's been here all along. That's the problem.
See, she's a part of Straight Talk.
I'm glad to come back.
Hey, look
You
at
just invite me.
hey Shannon. She's on the Straight Talk News side. Now she want to be on the personality side. So you better do your Straight Talk News and doing the program while we're doing the program.
My contract wasn't.
Hey, listen, you ain't been in tune to nothing but Straight Talk with yours truly, Greg Fann, the Preacher Man, Shanan Jones, and Cynthia Water, Miss C. Miss C, you got news and information, get it to Miss C at Straight Talk News 1362. Or if you want to be on the program, go and you can send that to Miss C too at Straight Talk News, Straight Talk News 1362 at gmail.com. Like us, subscribe, comment, share to our YouTube station, and don't forget to check us out each and every Sunday at 7 p.m. on WIGO 1570 on your AM dial. This ain't been nothing but what? Straight Talk.
Want to be a guest on Straight Talk? Email Greg Fann at FANN922 at Comcast.net or call 404-308-0795. Join us again for another episode of Straight Talk with Shanan Jones and Greg Fann, the Preacher Man.